Now for a special message from Darth Pizza.
This is J.R. Gordon. He turned his face into a hummingbird feeder. I'm not saying this guy is definitely getting his face shit on, but anybody who knows hummingbirds like I do knows that hummingbirds shit more than any other animal in the animal kingdom. Just watch a hummingbird take a shit for a couple hours and you'll know. So this guy will definitely be picking some dingleberries out of his beard later. I'm not talking shit. I'm actually kind of jealous. I don't think I'd mind a hummingbird shitting on my face. Till next time, hummingbird fans.
Somewhere in space, this may all be happening right now.
Yo, and welcome to the Pop Culture Hour. It's episode 7. I'm your host, Johnny, and with me is the amazing Emily Lynn. How are you, Emily?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I am good. So, see, this is take 2. We started the podcast, and then, my life got in the way, and that was annoying. So we had to, stop it, but thank goodness it was only, about 40 seconds in. But you were telling us about your uneventful week?
Yeah, I didn't really do much anything, which I guess is kind of nice, but not particularly exciting. How about you?
So we move out Sunday morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my house is a mess. Everything's in boxes, so that's why we're recording on a Friday night instead of a Saturday night. And we might go 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks without the next episode, or if you just wanted to do something without me, which is obviously totally cool with me, or maybe I can do it from my phone, but all this shit will be packed up tomorrow. So we'll play that by ear. I'll talk to you. So those useless listening at home, it might be 3 weeks till our next episode. But I've done other people's podcasts from my phone, and it sounded okay, I guess. So we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out. But I'm kind of pissed off right now.
Why is that?
I am angry. I am not hangry because I just ate. I am angry. I am angry because I took a break from Twitter, and I enjoyed that break. There was no drama. No one was no one ever really yelled at me in a long time, but there was no why did that person unfollow me? Interesting. Why am I blocked by that person? I don't know who the fuck she is. I wonder what that's about. Probably guilty by association unfollow or block. Whatever. I'm a grown man. This doesn't bother me. Secretly, it bothers me.
Not that secretly.
Not that secretly. It bothers me. But whatever. That's that person's issue, not mine. I mean, if they didn't block me, I wouldn't have known who the hell they were anyway. It only came up because I was listening to them on a friend's podcast. But whatever. Life goes on. Obviously judging the wrong stuff. But so I took a break from Twitter. I enjoyed it. No stress, no drama. And then I dip my toe back. I slowly ease in. I tell a couple jokes. I put a couple pictures up. I'm like, oh, okay. I like this again. I'm keeping in touch with my friends and socializing. And then it happens again. Like people being assholes. People being assholes for the sake of being an asshole. Emily, why are people assholes?
I don't know, Johnny. I mean, there sure seem to be a lot of them.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong. There's people that like I associate with that like I'm not really big fans of, but like whatever, it's not a big deal. It's not like I gotta go have like beers with them every Friday night, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like they're not blatantly attacking people, you know? And I just don't understand why people blatantly annoy, anger. I don't want to use the word harass because like I know people that have been harassed. So I just want to. I mean, I guess we can use the word harass, like online harassment, if you will. We'll call it, because obviously I think we can agree there's different levels of harassment, right?
Sure.
But like seriously nagging and bugging and just online harassing. Why? Leave them alone. Why? Go away. Like, I had to tell a couple people to go away, and they went away. Right? So I can't really empathize. So I will imagine it must be really annoying. And I understand that person's frustration 110%. But what I can't understand is why people feel the need to do it. Like, right now, you and I are friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can text you. I can call you. I can social media you. Okay? Let's say we have a heated discussion about a certain Star Wars actor tonight, and you need a break. And you need a break from me. You'd be like, you know what, Johnny? Like, look, I need some space. Like, give me a couple months to calm down. You know what I'm gonna do?
I imagine you're gonna back off.
I'm gonna back off not just 2 months, but I'll probably back off 4 months, and then I'll ease back into the relationship by liking one of your tweets and hoping you see it 4 months from now, just to get my name in your brain, right? And then I'll wait another month, and I'll comment on your next Tarkin figure and say that's cool. So I'm taking that next step. First a like, then a comment. You know what I'm saying? Then maybe I'll wait a couple weeks. Maybe I'll put up my own meme about Tarkin. Play at your heartstrings. Maybe Mendo, and I'll at you on it. Right? That's a big step. I'm now adding you on it, and I'm just seeing how this goes. Right? And
right.
if you like it, then I know you've softened. This is Social Media 101 with Johnny and Emily. How to get back in good graces over time. Right?
And that's if somebody has left the door open for you. Like, that is like assuming I say, hey, leave me alone for a couple months. Not if I say, hey, never contact me again.
Right. If you said never contact me again, I would and I was genuinely wrong and felt bad, I would plead my case like pretty hard, right? And then I would probably ask a mutual friend to reach out to you. Like, I'm being real, right? Mm-hmm. This is honestly what I would do. I would first apologize and try and mend it. Then if that didn't work, I'll wait a little while and be like, hey, I don't know, Steele. Can you let Emily know, like, I feel horrible and, to hear me out and, whatever. And then if that didn't work, I would probably stop. That's probably as much as I would do. One shot myself, give it some time, ask a friend to, like, intervene, and then I would stop.
Yeah, and that's based on us having, like, an actual friendship.
Correct.
Right, because if somebody who you're just on, like, talk to online says, "Hey, like fuck off and leave me alone," that should absolutely be the end of it.
Right. Let's bring up that person who blocked me. I can give two shits. They blocked me. I'm confused why, because I don't know who the hell the person is. And it's not like I'm going to ask you to DM that person and say, why'd you block Johnny? Because I don't care. You know why? Because you're right. They're not a real life friend. It's no one I even spoke to.
No, I mean, you absolutely do care, but if you did ask me to, I would tell you no.
I would never ask you to. And I only care because it's frustrating, because it's clearly like a guilty by association thing, and that's not fair to like anyone who suffers from that.
I mean, well, first of all, I block people all the time, so I don't care about that. But also, it's entirely possible that block wasn't like a going through and blocking you. It could be blockchain.
Oh, what's a blockchain?
You can. There's third-party apps where you can block anybody who follows a certain person.
But that's still guilty by association.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like you're not necessarily like going through and looking at it all. And also, yeah, sometimes people are guilty by association. Like if you think somebody, like if you have somebody who like you absolutely can't stand, and not just on a hey, that guy is kind of a jerk, but this guy is a bad person and I don't want anything to do with them, then you also don't want anything to do with the people who are following them.
I guess.
And also, it's like it's Twitter. It's just like it's curating what comes into your stream.
I understand. It still pisses me off though. Because if that person got to know me, by God, that person would love me. I win people over.
I'm not convinced by that, but...
Oh, no. I won you over. You didn't know who I was at one time. Now you love me. Not as much as Chris Fresh, but you love me.
I do love you. Not as much as Chris Fresh, but I do love you.
Damn you, Fresh. All right.
But he's mad at me right now, so it's fine. I can love you a little bit more tonight.
Oh, why? As she drinks her wine.
Because I don't like Sherlock as much as he does. And he got mad at me about it. Because he thinks Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The Benedict Cumberbatch, like BBC Sherlock. It's like his favorite show of all time. And I said some unflattering things about it on Canterbury Dispatch, and he's displeased.
I've never seen it. I've never watched any Sherlock Holmes things. I know who he is, you know.
Well, hopefully you know who he is.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Like maybe the most famous literary character of all time.
Yeah, him and Jesus. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm Catholic. I'm allowed to joke. Yeah, and you know who else I just don't get? Doctor Who. I've never seen it. It might be great. I might be a huge Doctor Who fan if I ever sat down and watched it.
I have fallen off of Doctor Who. I was a really big fan for a while, and then I just sort of like, there was a stretch of episodes I didn't enjoy, and I think I'd like it if I went back to it, but I just never bothered. Because there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah. Like The Boys. Did you watch the first 3 or 4 episodes of The Boys?
I watched the first 2.
What do you think so far?
It's really good this season so far.
Dude, it's just a good show. I'm not going to say a lot because I saw episode 3. I haven't seen episode 4 yet, which was released today, actually, so I'll probably watch that when we get off. So I'm not going to say things, so I don't want to ruin it for you, but, like, just in general, like, so good. I loved how, like, the Butcher basically wasn't even in episode 1.
Yeah, that was great.
That was, like, great. It's like, he's the star of the show, in my opinion. And they didn't even need him. Didn't even need him for episode 1. That's how good that show is.
Well, the stuff that they've been doing with Homelander is amazing. What a, like, intensely interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, I was explaining to someone, I think it might have been Sabrina. I was like, it's a superhero show, but the superheroes are bad. They're like capitalists. They're just in it for the money. And that's it. And they're evil. They murder, they kill, they just care about making money and like marketing and whatnot. And it's a corporation runs them like they're products. And then she walked away. Not into it.
Yeah. But the Homelander like is such a. I mean, it's basically what if Superman had been raised? What if Clark had been raised by bad people instead of good people? But I mean, that actor is so great. I love him. He's terrifying.
Yeah, diabolical. Diabolical. That's like the word of the show. Like, he says it like 3 or 4 times in episode 2, I think.
I think so.
Like, diabolical. Oh man, so good. And Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito.
Dude, yeah, that scene when the Homelander tries to like bully him, and he's just like Giancarlo Esposito. The thing that he's great at is that really calm, like evil. He's so good at it and makes it so scary for a guy who does not yell at all. I love it.
Yeah, the best part about it, and like I said it to you on Twitter, like he's not afraid of Homelander.
Yeah,
like
it's so good.
He's like I will give no fucks about your superpowers and how you can just melt my skin in a second. Like you're like because it's all about money. Like Homelander doesn't control. He has all the superpowers, but Giancarlo, what's his character's name?
Oh, I don't remember.
What's his first name? I'm getting him confused with a Yankee, Giancarlo Stanton. Is it Giancarlo Esposito?
You know, I always mispronounce it, and I feel bad because I've heard him say it many times, and I always have to double check.
Buongiorno, we are looking at how to pronounce the name of Danish-born American actor and director. He took his name from his father, originally an Italian stagehand and carpenter from Naples. We are looking at how to pronounce with a typical Italian pronunciation, Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito is how it would be said in Italian. However, in American, it is generally said Giancarlo Esposito.
All right. We know what we're talking about.
I think it might be Giancarlo. I'm not sure. I need to look it up.
Giancarlo Esposito, or in Italian, Giancarlo Esposito.
How about we just call him Moff Gideon?
I said my name Giancarlo Esposito for years. I now say it the way it's properly pronounced. My name is Giancarlo Esposito.
So Moff Gideon, without the Darksaber, is in The Boys. And he runs the corporation that pays the superheroes to do their jobs. And they're trying to get like the government taxes, the national security funds to like fund them. You know, kind of like how they fund NASA, you know? And Moff Gideon's in charge, and he doesn't give a shit. And he's bossing Homelander around, and Homelander, like Emily said, is like an evil Superman, which is awesome. And the good guys are human beings who are outlaws, wanted by the superheroes, the cops, the FBI, etc. And they have no superpowers. So, like, how can they possibly win? Well, that's what makes the show so good. It's so good. So what ended as just, I want to keep talking about it, but I don't want to ruin it for you. What was the last thing you saw in episode 2?
I don't quite remember where it ended. Because that's the episode where the Deep is high off the shrooms and talking to his gills, voiced by Patton Oswalt, which is amazing.
Remember Melissa Dabrowski, the kindergarten teacher you finger-banged backstage at the VH1 Educator Awards?
So what?
You were supposed to present her with Teacher of the Year, but you bailed while she was pulling her panties back on.
What do you think of the Deep in his story arc, where they're going with that?
I'm enjoying it. I'm also like waiting for it to connect back up with the main story. So I'm interested to see like who these people are that he's with, because there is something like very culty about them, and I'm interested to see where that goes. Because right now they're sort of like Scientology for superheroes.
Yeah. Oh, that's so well said. That's so well said. Okay, so we can't talk about it. Let's just say I know where they go. I know where it goes.
Okay, so
I'm not
I'll
gonna ruin it for you.
catch up.
So before I pull a Logan, where I ruined the ending of Logan for Hawes, I'm going to change the subject.
Good
going
call.
to change the subject. So we talked a little bit about The Boys. Just fuck social media. It's a nasty place, and I hate it. So I might be taking another break. Okay. What? I got a funny story for you. So the Dune trailer dropped, right?
Yes,
I watched it. Did you watch it?
I did.
I liked it. What about you?
Yeah, man. I'm excited for it.
All right.
I think it looks fucking cool.
It does look cool. So you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
I thought I saw Dune, the movie, as a child. Because they did. They made one in like the 80s, right? Early 80s?
The David Lynch one.
Yeah. Like, oh, did you read the books? And I was like, no. That's a stupid question. But they don't know me like that. And they're like, oh, did you see the movie? Like the 80s movie? And I was like, yeah. And then I said, I'm surprised the trailer didn't have the spinny thing with the claws, the boomerang thing.
And they said, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, they said, asshole, that's Krull. And I went to my phone, and I was like, yeah, that's the movie I saw. And then I went to like the Dune movie, like pictures, like it came up images or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I never saw that movie. No idea who that is. So, Emily, I am a Dune virgin. What the fuck is a Dune?
Okay.
What is?
Keep it in mind, I have not read Dune since college, and I also never got past like maybe the second book. I like it well enough, and I think there's a lot of interesting stuff there, but like it was never my main like sci-fi or fantasy go-to. But on very, very basic level, you have sort of different families who are controlling different planets. I guess if you wanted to like compare it to like recent like sci-fi fantasy basic knowledge, sort of like the different families in Game of Thrones. And there's big giant sandworms, kind of like Tremors.
Oh, so that's what I saw at the end of the trailer?
Yes, that's what you saw at the end.
So what's a dune? That's not the name of the planet? That was a bad guess?
It's not the name of the planet. I think it's just because there are people yelling at me right now.
Who's yelling at you?
Oh no, people who are big. No, I don't mean there's somebody literally yelling at people. I mean people watching or listening to this who are yelling at me right now. Because I mean, it's a big ass desert planet. Maybe they even refer to the planet as Dune. I can't remember. I mean, it's not like the name of the planet.
Okay. Dune.
Because the name of the planet, I know, I haven't seen the David Lynch movie in so long that I don't know how it's pronounced.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Whether it's Arrakis or Rakis, it's Arrakis. That's the name of the planet.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Arrakis is how I would say it. More power. Arrakis. All right, cool. So I think on Pop Culture Hour, I've spoken frequently about how I'm a big Timothée Chalamet fan. So I was pretty excited to see him in it. I do love myself some Oscar Isaac and Jason Momoa. Who else is in it? Oh, is Jason Momoa a bad guy? If Oscar's a good guy?
Know who he's playing.
Okay.
Javier Bardem's in it.
Awesome. Dude, Drax is in it?
Yes.
And he looks like Drax?
Stellan Skarsgård, who I don't think we saw in the trailer.
Wait, Stellan? Is that the dad?
Yeah, that's the dad.
Okay, he's awesome. Oh, and his sons are awesome too. The Vampire and the Clown. You know why I said Vampire and the Clown?
Yeah, because that's who they play.
Yeah, well,
it's
the
guy
older
from True Blood.
It.
And It.
The Vampire and the Clown.
And they're gonna both be Vikings in the new movie by the guy who did The Lighthouse and The Witch. I'm super fucking excited for it.
Oh, cool. I'll check that out. That's awesome. But dude, like the vampire son is like huge and the clown son is like tiny. I wonder how that worked out.
I mean, genetics are weird.
Because the Hemsworths all look alike. They're all like
I can't. Like, most of the time I have to stop and go, is that one or the other one?
Right?
You never do that. You don't ever do that with Alexander and Bill?
Bill. And look, right there. Alexander and Bill.
That is his name,
Alexander and Bill. If this was a solo episode, I would say Alexander and Bill 100 times. Alexander and Bill. Alexander and Bill. Alexander and Bill. Alexander and Bill. But Chris Hemsworth and Liam Hemsworth, like, I swear, if it wasn't for like Chris's muscles, they like just blend together for me.
No.
His muscles.
Yeah, but it's Dune is directed by Denis Villeneuve, who did Sicario and Blade Runner 2049. I like him, so I think there's a high possibility that it will be good.
Yeah, I mean the trailer looked cool. I just thank you for my Dune, one of my Dune cliff notes.
Yeah, and like that is me desperately trying to remember something that I read for a class in college. So
you read Dune for a class?
I had a class that was biology of science fiction.
What was your major?
My major was poli-sci, but we had to get science credit.
So you were able to get your science credit by that? That's
like for one semester, and then I had to take like a real science class my other semester.
No, look, I'm not making fun of you. This is jealousy. This is jealousy.
We read Dune and Jurassic Park and Red Mars and a couple other things, and we watched the Fluke Man episode of The X-Files and the Salt Monster episode of Star Trek. And probably a couple other things.
Yeah, not so lucky over here. Not so lucky. I didn't get any like freebies. Yeah. Now I'm like thinking about like all my classes in college and like I can't think of anything that was like nothing was like hard, but like nothing was like fun or easy.
I mean,
And I was an athlete. Like, take care of me.
My other science credit, I took microbial ecology, so I evened it out.
Yeah, that sounds difficult.
Especially because there were only 6 kids in that class, so you could not.
You can't hide.
Yeah, you can't hide.
So you want to hear one of the reasons why I hate reading?
Sure.
So one of my majors was history. And one of my last history classes, so I was a senior, and it was either like semester 1 or semester 2. Guess how many textbooks I had to buy? Or I don't want to say textbooks. How many books I had to buy? This included like a lot of like novellas, novels, etc. Books of essays, bullshit like that.
15.
27. 27. Guess how many I read?
5.
None. I was so turned off by it. I was like, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up to class every day, which was rare for me. I'm going to take like ridiculous notes. I'm going to write down everything he says, and I'm not going to read a fucking thing. And like, I did fine. I didn't get an A. Probably like, let's say, CB range, okay? But it was just so gut-wrenching, intimidating. I was like, fuck all. I'm out. I read like the back blurbs if it was like a novel. If it was an essay, I would like because then you had like write papers and shit. I would just like open up to a page and start reading page like 73, find like a quote, and then just expound on it and just talk about it and just fluffed and BS my way through that. But 27. If I ever see that guy again, I'll be like, dude, fucking 27. That's ridiculous.
Unreasonable.
Right? Unreasonable. And like someone said to me, like, it was just mostly for reference. Like you didn't have to actually read all 27. And I was like, still, I'm offended he put 27 books on it. And I bought all 27 books. So that was an expensive semester. That was like $300.
Yeah.
And we're talking like, that was a long time ago. That's like $320 in today's standards. That's a joke. It's good. Get it?
It's a lot for one class. That's like, I've had entire semesters where I didn't buy that many books.
Yeah, no. Again, everything was normal, and I didn't go to a good college. I got into a good college, but I wasn't able to afford that good college. So I went to like an average college, which was Monmouth University. Again, just so average and not a fan. And that's it. And I'm just blah. So let's change the subject. So we did Dune. Let me go to my little outline here. What's next? All right. Okay, here's something fun before you beat me up. Did you see the entertainment covers for the Mandalorian preview, which comes out October 30th?
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. I have a theory. You want to hear my theory?
Sure.
Okay. Do you have the picture in front of you on your phone that
Yes.
I sent you?
Yes.
Okay. I think those are close-up, well-lit pictures of Hot Toys.
I think the one with like the full Mandalorian where Baby Yoda's in the little bag
Mm-hmm.
it looks a lot better than the one that's like fully on Baby Yoda.
I think
The
they're
one-
both Hot Toys.
The one that's full on Baby Yoda looks like a toy. I will give you that.
I want to know if like I'm right. I ran it by Haas Burkhart, Star Wars Beer of Knowledge, Blue Harvest podcast. If you're not listening, you're wrong. I ran it by him and he said, and I quote, "I think you might be right, comma, buddy." I want someone to ask. And like here's another reason why I think I'm right. They did that for the Rise of Skywalker teaser poster. They took a picture of the Emperor Palpatine's hot toy.
Oh, that was
And-
bad.
I think they did the same thing here. Not like I'm showing you my phone. I think they did the same thing here. I wonder who I can ask. James Hibbard. You know who would have answered this for me? Bresnahan. But entertainment made a big mistake. That's all I'm going to say. I want to ask James Hibbard. I might tweet him, see if he's on Twitter.
But I love that he's just walking around with Baby Yoda in a little messenger bag.
Dude, he loves him. I want to see the full-on, like, old school, like, look at the baby, like the dad thing where it's like on the chest.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I want to see it all in, man. Like, he
And
loves
a
the
little
kid.
ugly.
Yeah. Aw. Dude, I want to see him. I said it before and I'll say it again. I love The Mandalorian because The Mandalorian loves Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, that's the heart of the show. And I remember when I used to do Rogue One, you know, Hawes and I got into a conversation once, and I said, you know, I don't think, because this is when we knew there was going to be a season 2, but it wasn't like official, and we didn't see the end of season 1, where they're like, it's your mission to find the home for Baby Yoda. I was like, I don't think you can have the show without Baby Yoda.
No.
And and we discussed it, but it's a possibility because we didn't know that, you know, they were thinking about season 2 without Baby Yoda. I don't think you can ever split them up. How about you?
No, absolutely not. That show is about Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda, bro. And you can't put him in a Mandalorian helmet. It'll cancel out the Baby Yoda. You gotta keep the Yoda. You know what I mean?
I love him so much.
I know. So that's October 30th. So I can't wait to go over that episode by episode with you. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Do you watch The Walking Dead?
No, I fucking hate it.
When did you start and stop watching?
Like 2 episodes in. Fuck that show. I don't like zombies. I read a lot of comic book, but nah. It's just misery porn. I can't get into it.
Whoa.
How about you?
I'm a what do you call it? First time, long time? I don't know what to say. I watched it when it first premiered and haven't missed an episode any Sunday night. Now, there's 10 seasons. There's definitely like some seasons are better than others. There was definitely a season, I forget what number, 8 or 9, where you're just like, I had just wasted like 3 months of my life. Like, that was terrible. The best character is Negan. I don't know if that means anything to you.
Yeah. I remember him from the comics. And that's Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character?
Yeah, and he's awesome. He's awesome. The comedian. Shout out to Zack Snyder for casting him and bringing him to the limelight, to the mainstream. Because I don't think without Watchmen, Jeffrey Dean would have much of a career. You know? Like, that was kind of his big break in my eyes. But, so I like it. I watched the show, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because they're done. But they're not. So, like, they announced season 11 will be the last season, but they're doing spin-off shows. And you remember Rick from the comics, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the spin-off shows is all about him and his new adventures. So it's like, what are you ending?
Yeah, that's weird. Like, spin-offs generally aren't of your main character.
They, like, killed him in season 9, right? Had a pretty decent season without him because, again, quote-unquote, Negan is the man. And then they're saying season 11 is the end, but it's not. You're going to have the Rick show, whatever they're going to call it. And Fear the Walking Dead is absolutely hot garbage. Fear the Walking Dead is trash. So I'm not even into that. But I'll definitely check out the Rick show. So people are like, oh my God, it's over. I'm like, but it's not. It is, but it isn't. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, that was a stupid announcement. I can't believe you don't like The Walking Dead.
Nope, hate it.
That's interesting. Because it's definitely a good show. Something that, if I had to guess, like if someone said, Johnny, Emily, does she like The Walking Dead, yes or no? I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah. But no, you don't. Who are you, Emily?
Don't like zombies.
Why, are you scared? Are you scared
No,
of zombies?
I think it's fucking boring as shit.
You think zombies are boring?
Yes.
Well, the show's not about, but you read the comic book. It's about the humans against the humans.
Oh, but no, that's the thing. It's like, oh, but the real monster is humanity. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit.
I feel like you made fun of me.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I'll take it.
But really, I'm making fun of the zombie genre. Like, I just... I don't feel like anybody ever does anything new with zombies.
No.
And hasn't since. It's interesting. Since Romero started zombies, since Night of the Living Dead, it's weird because we get so many different versions of vampires. Let's say there's a million different vampire types, but the only difference between zombies is whether they're fast zombies or slow zombies.
Yeah, World War Z, right?
Or 28 Days Later.
Oh, that was good. That was with God, what's the Scarecrow?
Cillian Murphy.
Yes, Cillian Murphy. That was a solid movie. That was a good movie.
I like Shaun of the Dead a lot.
Oh yeah, dude, Simon Pegg's Breakout. Did you ever see Hot Stuff?
I've seen, yeah, of course. Do you
Dude,
mean Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz, sorry. Your Hot Stuff. The movie's Hot Fuzz, sorry. That was my favorite when they were cops. I wish him and that guy, Nick, I don't know his name.
Frost.
Nick Frost. I would have him just make movies for me forever. Just the two of them. You know what I mean?
They're great together. Yeah.
They are great together. And then Simon Pegg became a Star Wars weirdo. Oh, speaking of Star Wars, what did you think about Daisy Ridley's comments about first it was toying with she was going to be related to Obi-Wan Kenobi, then she was a nobody, and then, here's the pitch for Episode 9 and Palpatine is granddaddy. What did you think of all that?
I think it's interesting she was talking about it so openly. I saw people on Twitter being well, George didn't always know what he was doing either. But the difference is small things aside, things that make a character end up looking like a liar, or the kiss with Luke and Leia. For the most part, I don't watch those movies and think, well, this story changed in the middle of it. Whereas I feel like you feel it more in Rise of Skywalker that they weren't quite sure what they were doing. I'm just so over it, and I didn't I saw this thing with Daisy, and I didn't even really I can't be bothered. I feel like we're just having the same arguments over and over and over again in this fandom.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was shocked she just came out and said it so freely.
At the beginning, there was toying with an Obi-Wan connection, and then it really went to that she was no one, and then it came to Episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy, and I was like, awesome. So it kept changing.
But I think she's done with Star Wars too, and so she had zero fucks to give, if you will, and she was just told the truth, which I respect. And she's right. 10 years from now, if she maybe might do an Episode 10,
Yeah.
But she thinks it's over. But yeah, she just didn't care. And my first reaction was I knew that already. Not the Kenobi part, but you knew that they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. That they went back and forth. That JJ had a plan, and then Ryan did his thing, and then because that's basically what she said without using people's names.
Yeah.
JJ toyed with the Kenobi thing, then Ryan, you're nobody. And then JJ, well, you fucking killed Snoke, so now I got to bring back Palpatine type thing, whatever. So it's I knew it went back and forth, but I didn't know the Kenobi thing. And I think, Josh Gad fucked that interview up because he should have asked for more, because I'm sure they threw a lot of things at the wall.
Yeah.
Kenobi, Skywalker.
So at one point, Obi-Wan was in there. Who else? Was Olaf amongst the possible parents, or?
I think Olaf was, yeah. Just a galaxy far, far away. He was in a different. It was a darker time.
And not just the last name, but being a Solo, being Luke's daughter. I'm sure it was all thrown against the wall, and none of it stuck. Not even what stuck.
And I just feel that's probably the sort of thing that you need to decide early on and stick with it.
Yeah.
If it's going to be an important part of the story, because so much of that movie, that whole trilogy is who is Rey, you need to know who Rey is. yes, George made the switch and Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. Like, that's a huge deal. But it's not like you spend all of the first movie going, I wonder who Luke's dad is. Like, that's not like a central mystery of it. So you can make that swerve.
Yeah, no, it's their fault. Like, they designed the puzzle and then couldn't get themselves out of it. And they did a shit job getting themselves out of it and when they were done.
Well, as somebody who watched a lot of Lost and a lot of other JJ stuff, JJ likes presenting a puzzle much more than he likes having an answer for the puzzle. And often JJ doesn't even know what the answer is.
No, but I can tell you what the answer wasn't, and that's Palpatine. If this was an SAT, he would have gotten that one wrong. But it is what it is. Since we're talking about Star Wars, what are your thoughts on John Boyega's mini rant? We'll call it rant.
Oh, I don't quite want to call it a rant because I think that puts I think that is a pejorative word.
All right. Well, I don't know what that word means, so let's try that again.
I think rant has negative connotations to it that are maybe a little unfair.
Okay.
And I think he was like fairly, however much you might disagree with him or agree with him, I think he was pretty just sort of like flat out and reasonable in how he presented his argument.
Well, let's start here because someone listening might not know what you're referring to. So, explain what he kind of said in the GQ article in England.
Yeah, he was in, I don't know if it's like GQ UK or GQ Britain or whatever. I don't know exactly what the GQ over there is called. But he did an interview with them, and he talked a lot about his involvement with the Black Lives Matter movement, and he also talked a lot about his experience as a black actor. Specifically talked a lot about his experience as a black actor in Star Wars. And he talked a lot about his, I don't know if resentment is the right word, maybe it is, in terms of how Star Wars presented what Finn was going to be and then what Finn's role in the movies became. And also just sort of behind the scenes stuff and in terms of, I guess, like being a black man in a world that caters much more to white people.
All right, so as a black man with a lightsaber, like we're gonna have a black Jedi, and that's not what we got, right?
Right.
So I see and I agree with I almost called him Finn. I agree with John there. I agree with that. Like, yeah, dude. Like when I saw the poster, I was like, John Boyega's a Jedi, cool, right? And then that's after you watch the movie, you're like, oh, Rey's the Jedi, and he just held the lightsaber because she didn't want it. You know what I mean? Now, that's where I agree with John. The marketing did suggest that. Fact, John, I agree with you. Here's where, like, not that Lucasfilm responded, but if they did, like, you know, they gave you the script, you knew where your character was going and I'm only talking about episode 7 here.
Oh, see, but I don't think you can only talk about episode, because I think you can take episode 7 and still think that Finn is going to end up having a much more important role than he does, even if it's not necessarily as a Jedi. Although I certainly think you can think that's where it's headed, that he's still going to end up being Force sensitive, which they continue to dance around and not give you an actual answer for in Rise of Skywalker. But because our Les from the Sith List was on Steele's show talking about this, and he said, you know, when he watched that first movie, like, he was disappointed, but he thought, okay, maybe next movie we're gonna get it, and then after that it was okay, but maybe in the final movie we're gonna get it. And
get
so
what? Get
Finn like actually taking on that role
of Jedi, or a bigger, better role.
I mean, I think still that he could still become a Jedi. I still think you could see that as a possibility. And also, I think because the potential for the story with Finn is so much more than they ended up doing. In terms of, you know, this kid who was kidnapped from his family and brainwashed and made a stormtrooper and saw this horrific slaughter, and that was enough to like snap him out of this brainwashing. And then like the idea of him at first just wanting to rescue himself and wanting to rescue Rey, and then becoming this real like part of the resistance and everything like that. And there's so much potential there that they wasted.
Right. So let me hop in real quick, because you did open my eyes to something, which I'll circle back to. But first, let me just address what you just said. I agree with you there. Episode 7 was, so this is Finn's character arc. Episode 7, save yourself. Episode 8, save yourself and Rey. Right. So he's opening up. Episode 9, save the rebellion. You know, General Finn. Right. That's how he ended. General Finn. So there, like, I agree with you. And that's a pretty solid character arc over 3 movies. You know what I mean? Now, if he was promised anything, if, you know, this and that. Now, episode 7, I think, was solid. Like, I think Finn was not my favorite part of episode 7, and not the best Finn performance. I believe episode 9 was the best Finn performance, and I'll circle back to that too. But John Boyega definitely has an argument when you look at the trilogy. So I was leaning towards Lucasfilm when it was just episode 7. Then when you open my eyes and you said, no, think about the trilogy. And I'm like, all right, you know, I'm going to think about the trilogy. So episode 7, I'm on Team Lucasfilm. Like, dude, you read the script. You kind of knew what your role was. Like, it's a cool role. Like, you know, dude, like, it is what it is, you know? Episode 8, though, I'm on Team John Boyega, because what the fuck was that? And you know, and I'm not trying to like get you upset. That whole side plot, I hated it since day one. Like, what a waste of 2 good characters.
I like that. Here's the thing: is I like that story, and I like what Ryan was trying to do with it. However, I mean, you can't say that it wasn't like sidelining that character. It absolutely is a character who is presented in that first movie as like one of the, like, it's your new trio.
Yep, exactly.
And so I think, like, in that interview, like, my takeaway is John's problem with the first isn't like the first movie. I mean, besides like the marketing stuff, which is screwed up.
But he knew he wasn't a Jedi. Like, he knew Rey had the powers and not him yet.
But he's not talking about that. He's talking about the marketing of it and how screwed up that is to present to an audience that you have this black character who is going to be a Jedi, and then to do that just to preserve a surprise is a screwed up thing to do.
I mean, I see the point. I see the point. And I'll be 100% honest with you, and I always will be. Like, I didn't see that point on my own. Like, you had to point it out to me. So I don't know, and not that I'm going to go do a poll or anything, but, like, you know, I don't know how many people saw it that way. I mean, clearly John did, and, you know, obviously his is the only opinion that really matters, right? So if he felt slighted, then, you know, he has his point, and we don't know what was said behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But episode 7, I kind of agree with Lucasfilm, because I thought Finn's character was great in episode 7. I thought it was well written. I liked the storyline. Episode 8, I'm on 110% team John Boyega. Like, they completely wrote Finn off in my eyes. They took him out of the movie in my eyes. And then episode 9, I'm going to go half and half, because my favorite part of episode 9 was when Poe, Finn, and Rey were all together.
Yeah,
the
and that's
trio.
Yeah, and I just think that should have been like more of what that movie is. But beyond that, like he's not just talking about like how much screen time he had or anything. He specifically called out how all of the like emotional nuance is given to Daisy and to Adam. And I think that's absolutely true. Is like, and it's just especially weird because you can see little bits of it with Finn, like when he's talking to. I've only seen the movie once, so I can't remember the character's name. The one who Naomi Aki's playing.
Yeah, the former stormtrooper. Yep, I don't know her name either.
And so, like, there's so much. Like that should have been a major part of that movie. That should have been a major part of the entire trilogy. Is this whole like stormtrooper who's like finding out who they really are and finding their family and becoming this like major force in the resistance. And it's like as much as I love The Last Jedi, like yeah, part of that is on Ryan as well. And it's really, I don't know, it really sucks. Like I don't quite know what to say beyond that.
Yeah, no, I mean I think it's a hard conversation to have with each other and there, I don't think there's any right answer. Like, again, like if I was Lucasfilm, I would say like you had a nice character, you had a nice character arc. The movie was about Rey Skywalker. You know, it was never like not about Rey.
Sure, but like it didn't have to be. Like that trilogy could have, and from the first movie. Like from what that first movie set up, the trilogy could have been about Rey and about Finn and about Poe.
Right. And they could have given him more to do, and
instead it becomes about Rey and about poor sad white Kylo Ren. And I can see how you. Like as an actor, if you're after, especially after the first movie, that would be pretty galling.
Yeah, I see. He said his character wasn't nuanced, right? That was the word, nuanced.
Well, he said like I think it's I don't have the interview in front of me, but he said that like all the nuanced stuff went to Daisy and Adam.
Right, but I think he had a pretty solid arc with a detour in episode 8. Like the more this conversation between us happens, the more I realize episode 8.
But it's barely
hurt
in
the
9.
Other two. But I mean, just to go back to his character arc: save myself, episode 7; save myself and Rey, episode 8; save the rebellion, episode 9.
Sure,
you know,
but like,
so
that, like yeah, that's where he ends up doing. But like, why isn't he more of that movie then? And why isn't he given that meaty stuff that Adam Driver is?
Yeah, no, he could have gotten a better written role. Yes, I agree. But then you'd have to take stuff out.
Well, yeah, but like
so
you
I'm
always
thinking
do.
What to take
and
out.
Like, well, there's the thing is, why is it automatically like the like white dude? Like it became about Kylo. It doesn't have to be about him. Like Darth Vader gets redeemed, but you don't spend like tons of time looking at how the sad man pain of Darth Vader.
No, you're right. Darth Vader does not have a lot of screen time in any of the movies.
Like if you still want to do a redemption storyline with Kylo, I don't think you need to, but you still could, and you could do that while not sidelining every character of color.
Well, I'm not even going to bring up Kelly Marie Tran. She definitely got the short end of the stick in episode 9, and that was terrible. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Like, either they buckled to the pressure of the small irate fan base that didn't like her, or they shouldn't have. What was it? What do I usually say? They shouldn't have put her in episode 9 at all. Like, what they did was the worst thing they could have done. Was give her that. Someone counted it. What was it? 90 seconds of screen time, 88 seconds of screen time,
something like that.
Right. So it clearly they buckled to the pressure. But like, what you shouldn't have done was put her in the movie at all. Like, it was almost an insult to have her on for 88 seconds. Like, if you didn't want her in the movie, then don't put her in the movie. Don't waste her time. Like, don't, because it made it worse. Like, as if Kelly Matran wasn't in episode 9, I'd been like, oh, they wrapped up her storyline. She's not in episode 9. You know, but the fact that they brought her back for that was like almost worse than not having her in it at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. But here's okay. At the end of the day, here's the thing: is it's not about like how much I like or dislike any of these movies, because it's about how John Vega felt about it and his experience doing them, and his like lived feelings and what he feels like is the reason this happened. And
right. Yeah. So which like before I said, like, I used the word behind the scenes. Like, I don't know what was promised. I don't know what was said. I don't know what the first version of the script was. Like, so I think you and I both agree that the best part of episode 9 was when the three of them were together. Poe, Ray, Finn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like maybe the first draft of episode 9, he was like, yeah, it's the new trio. We're going to kick the the First Order's ass the whole movie. This is awesome. And then like he gets like the next draft smaller, the next draft smaller, the next draft smaller. I would be pissed too, but he's not letting us in behind the scenes, behind the curtain too much, you know? But if that's the case, then I would be 110% Team Boyega, you know? But just what he gave us, that little bit, like I can kind of see it from both sides when you look at it just on episode 7. But you made me realize he's probably talking about the whole trilogy. Then I can see more of the point, with an emphasis on episode 8 being the biggest shaft job he got in the trilogy. At least like the first half of episode 9, he was like super cool, you know, and he ended up being General Finn, number 2 in charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's just, but I think like when you take it with this stuff, behind the scenes stuff that he does talk about, like, because he talks some about the experience of doing press for this movie, and how like it'd be these like small aggressions, like the people who are like they're criticizing like his closing choices, and the people who don't know how to do his hair, and it's not mentioned. I don't think it's mentioned in this article. There's been stories about how like he was told like by the publishing, like the press people in the beginning, that he was like too aggressive in interviews and stuff like that, which is a word that is often applied to black people and very rarely applied to white people. And in these situations, like the line where we draw like what it is like when somebody is being aggressive is like the bar we set for black people is much, much lower before we start, you know, throwing around terms like that. And so I think
I didn't read that stuff.
I think with those stories, it lends more clear like credence to me of why he would think that this is all goes back to race.
Right. All right. So now, was he clear in saying that Lucasfilm was behind that, or his publicist and agent? You know what I mean? Because like if I was Lucasfilm, again, just playing devil's advocate, if I was Lucasfilm, I'd be like, okay, that does suck. That wasn't cool, John, but that wasn't us. That's your publicist. That's your agent.
I don't like when it comes to those like that kind of press for this kind of movie. I don't know how that works.
Me neither. I never got that far. I didn't get far at all. So that's just something I want to bring up. But no, I didn't know that part. Yeah, I mean, it adds a layer. It definitely adds a layer of understanding, and I'm glad we got to talk about it. Hey, I'm glad we got to talk about it. All right, let's change the subject. That was a good conversation. So, do you hate me? Or are we taking 2-month break?
I don't hate you.
Okay, cool. So, Batman got COVID.
Yep.
Dude, the best movie we'll never see. Like, first off, I'm sorry, I'm being insensitive. I hope Robert Pattinson is okay and he recovers. And I hope his friends and family are okay and he recovers. So, obviously, first and foremost, the actor and his family's health is first and foremost. Okay? Speedy recovery. Now let me be a selfish geek. The best movie we'll never see.
Here's what's worrying, which is if that happens on a huge, like, big budget, tentpole, major studio picture that I have to imagine is taking every precaution, people are going to die on, like, small indie projects. It makes me think, like, nobody should be making movies right now. Which sucks, and it's going to suck in a year because there's going to be nothing to come out. But it just seems so unsafe.
Like, even worse than that, Emily, like, studio audiences, like shows like Saturday Night Live where they're all like on one set. Like, think of that. You know? It's like times 100.
You can't do it.
We might never see another movie again.
Yeah.
Dude, Black Widow got pushed back today.
Candyman got pushed back today. I'm pissed.
You know what? But is that a bad thing?
Absolutely, it's a bad thing. That movie's gonna rock.
Stop it. They're so bad. Are you talking about like the same Candyman I grew up with in the 80s? I mean,
it's a remake, and it looks awesome. The trailer thing they did is incredible. It's gonna be, and first of all, the first Candyman's good. It's got some problems now because there's like some race stuff in there that is some huge white savior shit. But I mean, Tony Todd's awesome in that movie.
That's the name of the actor, Candyman.
Yeah, it's good. It's genuinely scary. Don't watch any of the sequels. That's garbage.
Maybe I saw the sequel and thought it was the original.
But I think the new one looks great. And I was hoping, because that was supposed to come out next month, I was hoping because that was like a smaller one, that would be one of the ones that like comes out on VOD. And I'm like, I'm okay watching that at home. Like, I'd rather see it in a crowd because horror movies are fun with a crowd. But now it got pushed back to sometime next year. I think we're going to see more and more of that.
So the good news is 2021, and let's hope it's 2021, right? There's going to be a great movie every weekend to go see. I mean, that's what we're building towards here. But did you hear about Mulan? Their Disney Plus $30 extravaganza?
What about it?
Yeah, it didn't do as well as they thought it would. And, like, I can't blame the consumers. I really can't. Like, I pay $12.99 a month for Disney Plus. Like, give that shit to me, man. Give it to me for free. Like, add $30. It's ridiculous.
Well, at $30 for a movie that's going to be on there in 3 months. I mean, I can wait 3 months to see Mulan.
Yeah, a lot of people can.
Especially since most of the reviews were, it's fine.
I read one really good review. They said it was like, they compared it to like a really good movie. I can't remember which one, but they compared it to a really good movie. Was it Gladiator? I don't know. American Samurai? I don't know.
Most of the reviews I read were...
Was he half naked?
Yeah, it's fine. He was blurry, so it's fine. Most of the reviews I read were, well, it's the best of the live-action remakes so far, but that's not saying much.
Well, who's the competition? Aladdin, which was god-awful?
Beauty and the Beast, and I think they were even including Lion King in there, but that's bullshit because that's not a live-action movie.
No. Did you see Beauty and the Beast?
I saw maybe like I watched far enough to get the Gaston song, and then I stopped watching because I was bored.
Yeah, I never. I'm going to watch Mulan though.
I'll watch Mulan. I'll watch Mulan when it's free.
When it's free.
I think I maybe watched like 20 minutes of Aladdin.
Can't do it.
Dude, that dude sucks.
Can't do it. Which one? Will Smith, the Aladdin actor?
I mean, well, Will Smith, it's like, that just seems like bad casting. But that new Genie song sucked.
Just...
And I often really, really like Will Smith because he's Will Smith and he's incredibly charming, but not there.
No, I'll never watch that movie. I was so turned off by the trailer, and like I remember Araj from the Sith List, Cha-Ching. I love him to death. I remember he was so excited for that movie, and then I don't know. I was excited for him, and then I saw the trailer because of him, because I think he tweeted it, and I was like, oh God, I can't see this movie. And then I heard from people's opinions I value, like yours. It's like, yeah, I'm never going to watch it. Just never going to watch it. I might watch The Candyman, though. And you're a big Hellraiser fan, right?
Fucking love Hellraiser.
Yeah,
those movies are terrible.
I have to watch the first one?
Watch the first one. The first one I think is actually good.
So I have to watch it.
I mean, the effects are a little bit weird. They're a bit dated. It's a very like 80s movie, but I think that first one's good. And then here's what happens with Hellraiser, which is most of the Hellraiser movies were not Hellraiser movies. They were scripts to other horror movies, and then I forget what the studio is that owned it went, well, we have the rights to Hellraiser.
Probably New Line Cinema.
So let's make it a Hellraiser movie because then we have like a name.
Pinhead.
Like you can put the franchise on it. So they just grafted Hellraiser onto all sorts of other completely different concepts.
That's what Ocean's... What was the first movie called?
Ocean's 11.
So Ocean's 12 was that. They didn't write Ocean's 12. They bought a script called No Honor Among Thieves. Oh, I actually think that's the name of it. And they were like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, da, 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 da. Oh, let's just make this Ocean's 12. And they did. I swear to God, that's a true story.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
And I think that's actually the name of the script, No Honor Amongst Thieves or some shit like that. And they were like, oh, let's just make it Ocean's 12. Oh, you know what I started to watch that was awful? Ocean's 8.
Oh, I love Ocean's 8.
Dude, you know why I call it Ocean's 8? Because around 8 minutes in, click, couldn't do it.
Nah, that movie. I think Ocean's 8 is better than either of the Ocean's sequels.
You might be right, because those are trash, but they have Brad Pitt in them. And I'm a huge Sandra Bullock fan. Like, she was my crush for, like, the 90s. That's a true story. And I couldn't get past the first, like, couldn't do it. Who was the woman she was talking to? Kate Blanchett? The second lead, Kate Blanchett?
Possibly, yes.
Who's the girl who picked her up from prison?
I don't remember. I haven't seen it since it came out.
All right, let's just go with Kate Blanchett. It was the scene with her and Kate Blanchett. Like it was like they were eating breakfast, and I was just like, this is just my life's too short. I'm turning it off, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Not gonna do it.
Not got that.
Not gonna do it.
Not got that.
I like that you're doing basically an impression of an impression. Because you're doing the Dana Carvey version.
Yeah, not gonna do it.
Wouldn't be prudent, yeah.
Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
Anybody under the age of 35 is so confused right now.
Yeah. It's all right. No one's listening over the age of 35 either, so don't worry about it.
But I got it. That's the important thing.
Yes, and that's why you're my ride or die. Well, ride or die with Chris Fresh and the passenger car as we ride or die on the bike, the little, you know what I'm talking about? Like the World War II, like motorcycles with the little passenger car.
Uh-huh.
I feel like you and Chris are on the bicycle.
Okay.
And I'm in the passenger car just looking up. Like Baby Yoda from the satchel.
Aw.
I'm not even going to get into it. You know what I was about to talk about?
What?
I'm not even going to get into Carla. I'm not even going to get into it.
Okay.
Cara Dune, what's her name? Carla. What's her last name?
Giancarlo Esposito, or in Italian, Giancarlo Esposito.
Carano. Gina Carano.
Gina. Or Carla. I'm an idiot. Gina Carano. What? Come on, man. Why? Right, Emily, what did I tell you last week? Separate the art from the artist the best you can, right?
Yeah.
Separate the art from the artist. That's a tough decision. Now that I know her personality, like, if you asked me, like, would you still date her? Knowing I am so physically attracted to her. Like, I think she's just absolutely gorgeous. The fact that she's like this smart, intelligent, tough woman, like fighter tough, and she's in Star Wars, and I actually like her character in Star Wars. If you said, but now, Johnny, she calls you and says, hey, I'm going to a Trump rally. You want to come with me? And then we'll get dinner afterwards? I'm just going to be like, oh, so pretty, but no. Like, I'm going to call Chris and Emily and be the third wheel.
It's a better time.
Apparently, I am shocked, right? Just like, and it came out of nowhere, and then doubled down, right? Just doubled down on everything. I was just like, wow. I still like separate the art from the artist. That's all I'm gonna say. Separate the art from the artist. Like Vincent Van Gogh, Emily, could have been an asshole. Do you care? It's a pretty painting, bro. It's a pretty painting.
Sure, but again, it's different to be like supporting somebody's ongoing work.
Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't she have a publicist that says, hang up the phone? Like, put it down. Like, just stop. What are you doing? Why? You're so pretty. I just want you to be just like me, but you're not. You're not just like me. You're like something I don't hang out with. Ever. Gina. All right, you want to go over some emails?
Sure.
We kind of broke our rule. That wasn't really politics. That was just like, yeah.
Not got that.
All right. This is from, I feel bad. This is from Vic from over a month ago.
Uh-oh.
It got lost in like the emails. Okay, you ready?
Okay, let's go.
Hello, Pop Culture Hour. Thank you for the ongoing entertainment and diverse topics of conversation. Having a platform which incorporates all forms of entertainment has certainly been fun to listen in on. I'm going to attempt not to be long-winded as I want to discuss the topic of technologic advancements and its impact on movies. We refer to some of our favorites as classics, which in my opinion can be quite a diverse pool of cinema. However, thinking about movies through the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, those classics differentiate themselves because they are true storytelling movies. Directors, producers, writers, and everyone involved in development had to hit it just right when casting, writing, and filming our beloved stories. It feels as though in modern-day cinema, a subpar story becomes a movie because it hinges on visual effects. Ooh, I actually agree with him there. But there's more. Technology has made nearly impossible feats possible in cinema, which I do appreciate. If they can imagine it, it is almost certain to be created. But has that made us lazy in storytelling? I'll be bold enough to say that there are far less quote-unquote classics as we now have been through an age of incredible technological advancements, but the 2000s will not produce movies like that of the generation before. With the improvements in visual effects also came a lack of creativity, and as the effects have been a band-aid to today's movie industry, which has been drying up for original content. And he's not wrong. Also, oh, this is awesome. It almost makes sense to our episode. Also, Baby Yoda is a girl. You heard it here first. Much love to the Pop Culture Podcast. I'm on Team Mustache. That's me. Dude, so first and foremost, like, not judging a book by its cover, like, Vic is a handsome bodybuilder, right? But he's also an educator. He's a teacher. He's very intelligent. And that was, like, some awesome insight into the film geek he is as well. So thank you, Vic. Keep writing. Sorry it took me 6 weeks to read that. It kind of got lost in my shuffle, but I'm glad I got to it because it was an amazing email. So, like, dude, what do you think about his point? Like, we're losing the storytelling aspect in movies due to the band-aid of visual effects.
I think I'm of two minds here because I do agree with it to a certain extent. I also think it's hard to judge in terms of, like, will there be classic movies happening like they're like oh I'm hesitant to be like, oh, they aren't making them like they used to, because here's the thing is, when we look back at, like, the 70s or 80s and we talk about classic movies, we forget about the fact that most of the movies coming out then weren't classics, and the ones we think about are the ones that have survived. It's not like everything that was coming out then was great. It's just, no, like, the ones that we still talk about because they were the good ones. There was plenty of, like, terrible dross coming out then, just like there is now. But we are in an age where we sort of lost mid-budget movies to a large degree. And there's still, like, good stuff coming out. There's still, we still have people like Robert Eggers, like the Safdie brothers, like Jordan Peele, who are making super solid, interesting, not straight up indie movies, but lower budget things. But for the most part, it does feel like we are such an age of blockbusters, and everything has to be the biggest movie of all time, or else it's a failure. And that goes along with the, like, everything is about visual effects in comic book movies.
I'm still waiting for, like, well, maybe we got it with Joker. Like, Joker was a comic book movie that was, like, a real story. Like, that quote-unquote classic Vic was referring to. Like, so it can be done. You can blend the genres. Joker proved it with $2 billion in, like, Oscars out the wahoo. But I think they're far and few in between. Yeah. I think it's possible. Like, dude, Infinity War and Endgame, I was emotionally involved. I know it was make-believe, and I knew we were going to win in the end somehow. But, like, I'm embarrassed to say, at the end of Infinity War, I was like, don't you dare have Captain America ash away. Don't you fucking do it. And, like, I had knots in my stomach. Aww. And when I was, like, looking left and right, I'm like, it's over. He's fine. It's good. Is anyone else melting? Okay. He's good. Okay. He made it. Okay. Like, I didn't want to see him go. I was like, F that, man. I was pissed. That's my dude. I'm still pissed. He's aged out, if you will, by storyline. But yeah, so, like, I mean, the word classics, like Taxi Driver, classic. The Joker, classic. And I picked Taxi Driver on purpose because that's what they kind of compared the Joker to, right? Taxi Driver. What do you think about the Baby Yoda being a girl? That would be awesome.
They've called Baby Yoda he on the show.
But that's the go-to pronoun. Like, if a woman's pregnant, people say, like, how's he doing?
I don't think necessarily, but I think the fact that they used a gender on the show meant that they knew, and it was a boy. Like, I had been hoping that Baby Yoda was a girl, but then they used he, so I'm just like, okay, well.
But I think I wouldn't let that convince you, because that's the go-to pronoun. That's the most common pronoun.
I don't know.
Dude, picture a little pink bow between the big ears. How much cuter?
First
Remember
of all,
when-
not cute. Not first of all. I mean, first of all, not cuter, and also, what, the girl's gonna have a pink fucking bow? Come on, Johnny.
Yeah, dude, trust me. I've put plenty of pink bows in girls' hairs, and it makes them cuter. It does. I'm sorry. All right, okay, I'm about to prove you wrong. Are you sitting down? Ms. Pac-Man. Remember Pac-Man?
Mm-hmm.
How much cuter was Ms. Pac-Man? Because
But neither of them are cute.
Oh, dude, he's iconic. He and she are iconic.
Okay, but they're not cute.
But like the bow and like the lipstick. Come on, you were an all-in. Ms. Pac-Man didn't do it. Stop it. She's Miss Pac-Man. Picture it.
First of all, why are you even putting a bow in?
Okay, so funny story. I know this woman, my mom, who taped, not stapled, taped a bow to a baby's head, and it was my sister. My sister still tells that story. I mean, clearly she didn't remember it, but like my mom said, like, yeah, because I know we were looking at pictures, and my sister goes, "How did you get the bow to stay?" And she goes, "I taped it to your head."
Oh my god.
That's a true story. That's the Italian woman, my mother, Irene, with the Greek first name. Italian woman with a Greek first name. True story. All right, we got one more email. You ready?
All right, hit me.
This is from Richie Jafarjian. Dude, one of our 7 listeners writes in all the time. Him and Vic, I appreciate it. Keep writing in, guys. I actually just saw a really, really adorable video of Rich making pizza with his daughter on Facebook. His daughter's like 6, 8 months old. The baby. Hey, gang. As always, keep up the great content. So my wife and I are discussing whether or not to keep Disney Plus. Wait. Period. Stop right there. Pause. Yeah. Keep it. Now I'll keep reading. She wanted to get rid of it. I wanted to keep it, but only for the Star Wars content. I found myself attempting to justify how $72 a year on Star Wars in the grand scheme of things is about the same as I would spend on a Star Wars movie. So this got me thinking. Disney made $918 million in subscriptions its first year. Wow. That would make the Mandalorian series equivalent to a worldwide blockbuster hit. How many people actually bought it just to watch Cinderella and Toy Story in 4K? My wife let me win this argument. See what I did there? Would I win this argument with you? Is it worth it? Dude, okay. So, Rich, number one, I love you. Let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win.
Okay? Let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win.
Don't, always let the woman win. I'm glad she let you win that one. That's advice number 1. Advice number 2. Well, Emily, you go ahead first. What do you think?
I mean, here's the thing is, yeah, everybody, people we know got it for Star Wars. I got it for Star Wars, but I feel like most families got it because kids watch a lot of Disney and people watch a lot of Marvel.
And don't forget, Rich, not only are you getting Obi-Wan, Cassian Andor, more Mandalorian, but I know you like the Marvel movies. You're getting what, 4 new Marvel series that would be the equivalent of Mandalorian. You got Scarlet Witch and the Vision. You got Winter Soldier and Falcon. You got the Loki series and Hawkeye. Right?
I mean, I agree with his wife insofar as if I hadn't done the prepaid 3-year thing, I would be canceling it in between Mandalorian or whatever the new series seasons are. Because I'm not I already own the movies, so I don't need it for that. I'm not going to go back and rewatch the Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that. So
definitely not watching Rebels right here.
I'd have it to watch the Mandalorian and then I'd be okay, I'm done. And then I'll come back next year.
But you like Marvel. I just rattled off 4 awesome series.
Yeah, but those shows aren't on right now.
Right now.
But no, why continue to pay for something when there's not anything on it when you can just resubscribe?
Well, you know that what they're gonna do. They're gonna space that shit out so you don't take like that month off of your $12.99.
But sure, but you can take the month off. Like you totally could. And if it's like 3 months, and wait, right now, God only knows when those shows are coming.
Right. Well, I guess you could always just catch up. Like take 2021 off, and 2022 go ham. Just binge all that shit. Just long. All right. I think we are done, unless there's something you want to talk about.
No, I think I'm good.
Want to hear something funny?
Sure.
No, I can't. You didn't see it. Go watch The Boys episode 3 and 4.
Okay.
And then text me when you're done.
Okay.
I have to because I don't know what episode it was in, but it's Homelander related.
Okay.
So when you get a chance, I mean, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do it tonight, but as soon as you do, text me so I can bring this up.
Okay.
So where can we find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at EFLind. I host a Star Wars podcast called The Cantobite Dispatch, and I host a Vin Diesel podcast called The Fan and the Furious, or you can also look it up by searching for Vindicated.
That's so
Apple
bad. It's like so good bad. You know, it's like that bad good. Just when it's not the first time I heard it, but when you were just like, you saw it in your face, you were like, I can't believe I'm about to say Vindicated. So it's I can't wait till you move on to like The Rock. Like you're just gonna just do the whole bald muscular men series in a row.
Yeah, we are discussing who we're gonna do once we're done with Vin, because I think we're more than halfway through recording for the Vin Diesel movies.
Can I make a suggestion?
Okay.
Because I didn't bring him up once this episode, and it was about to be the first episode ever where he's not brought up.
We're not doing Leonardo DiCaprio.
Why not?
It's DiCaprio time.
I can be your expert that you call for I don't know what call Johnny.
I mean,
Ring.
First of all, it's too many movies. Also, there's nothing. I like Leo. I think he's a great actor. I don't feel like there's anything to figure out with Leo. Like he's just sort of like who he is. Like the reason we did Vin Diesel is because we think Vin Diesel is a weird dude, and sort of fascinated in how he is basically a character. Even in all his interviews and stuff, it's all very much his idea of what a cool guy is supposed to be like. Whereas Leonardo DiCaprio is just he's a good actor, and that's just he's sort of it. He does movies because he likes them and he's whatever.
Well, look, I'm going to be honest. You know there's not a bigger Leo fan than me in the world. I will say flat out, my man was chasing Oscar for the last 10 to 15 years. Now I'm curious what he's going to choose now that he's got that monkey off his back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I'm curious, what are you going to pick? Now will you do the Spider-Man movie? Well, obviously he was not going to be Spider-Man now, but now will you put on tights and be a superhero? Now will you do just a fuck all comedy? You know what I mean? Now that you got the Oscar, can you be yourself? More to come. We will see, sir. We will see. But yeah, that's interesting about Vin Diesel, because I heard he was kind of a douche a while ago.
That tends to be the story with him.
Interesting. All right, so that is it. All right, so I'm on social media at Pop Culture Hour. Please don't block me unless I actually did something to you or said something to you.
Dude, let it fucking go.
I can't. It's so hard. It's so difficult. No, it's fine. I'm so over it. Doesn't bother me at all. You're not looking at my cheesy face I'm making you.
Yeah, no, I could see it in my head. Okay, I see it now.
Ooh, I think I locked my jaw. I think I hurt myself.
Idiot.
Oh. It really hurt. Okay, so please, Vic, Rich, Ian, who else listens by name? Everyone who writes in, please write in. That was 2 amazing questions. I really appreciate it. So please write into the popculturehour@gmail.com and follow us on Twitter @popculturehour and Instagram @popculturehour. I really appreciate it. So till the next one.
Bye.
Giancarlo Esposito.